Hello everyone and welcome back to my YouTube channel. Today I have a new card which is perfect for the Butterfly Reflection Ink mood board. I already made one card, but I got these princesses, the Pretty Princess by My Favorite Things stamp set, and I just adore this one. I went away last weekend and I just took a few princesses along with me to color in, and I truly enjoyed coloring them in. So when I got home and I die cut them out, one of them was just perfect for the pink from this challenge. So I decided to color it again, trying to do something similar with the same combination to showcase to you, and then just work my way around this card using the other colors that are also in this mood board, which is truly fabulous this month. So if I'm not wrong, then Butterfly Reflection Ink has these challenges. These mood boards are every month. You can enter multiple times if you want to. So I have completely different card from my previous one for this challenge, but I truly enjoyed it. This color combination is just wonderful. So as you see here, I am coloring in this adorable princess or fairy or princess fairy or however you want to see it. This girl is just adorable. This is one of the newly released stamp sets by My Favorite Things for the month of January, and it was truly one of my favorite sets, along with the Hug It Out. Those are the stamp sets that I bought with the images on. So yeah, I have stamped this girl out onto Transotype perfect coloring paper with my Gina K Designs Amalgam ink, and I'm coloring it in with my Copic markers, as you can see here. Now, the skin tone, it's the first time that I'm using this skin tone, and I actually really like it. I think this is a good skin tone if you want to have a pale skin tone without being too pale, because there are also lighter combinations, but I'm more a fan to the lightish brownish faces, and yeah, just this one can also fit in the row of skin tones that I like. So for the hair, I'm doing blonde, and there are different ways of coloring hair. You can do some flicking, and you can just add some blended stripes, as I'm actually doing here, because the hair of this princess is so fabulous to do that. So I just went from darkest to lightest in each string of hair that they drew in, and I think it works as well. There's of course also the flicking, but here there's already a wavy thing going on in the hairstyle, so I didn't think that I had to do something crazy to have the idea of hair. Now for the skirt, as you can see here, the colors that I'm using for this pink is R85, R83, and then RV11. I try to sort of keep in mind where shadows could be, so my light sort is kind of centered for this image. So on the sides there is of course a shadow, and then with the layers of the dress, I just added some shadows in between those layers. And then what I also did was doing a bit of flicking in the shape of sort of following the dress with my two darkest colors to give this a bit of extra dimension, a bit more shadows, than by just adding a bit of the darkest color on the edges. So I'm first doing the sides. Those are smaller areas, and you sort of know where the shadows should go, and there is a lot of dimension by just doing the simple shadowing. You don't have to add a lot to have a beautiful dress. And then the middle part is a bit thicker, so what I experience with bigger images when I want to have a bit more depth than just the regular blending that I do is actually that the bigger images are a bit harder to really get everything going with depth. So I decided to first do some flicking with my two darkest and then fill the rest up with the lightest color. but then I just wasn't convinced this was too pale when I compared it to the sides of the dress. And then you can just go over it. So I prefer adding lots and lots of layers until I'm happy than just adding too much and have no return. So I'm just doing as I did in the beginning, flicking with the darker ones, then blending it out with the lighter one, going over it again with the darker one because, well, never convinced. And actually you can really keep going, adding layers and layers. You just need to stop somewhere. And then once the dress is colored in, this image is completely finished, and then I can use the matching dies to cut her out. Something I could also have done was to color in a little crown and also add it. In the end I didn't do that, but it's definitely an option. So here I have an A2 sized panel. This is also the same perfect coloring paper, and I'm just going to trim its half a centimeter. It's not an exact easy measure with the inches, but if you have a trimmer there are often the two measures on there, so half a centimeter. And then I have this amazing window die by the Stamp Market. I have only used it once, but it's truly a gorgeous die. It's big, it's bold, but again it's also detailed and it's really elegant, so I like it. I think it matches with the princess. So I added it onto this bit smaller panel, more towards the right. I will add the princess on the left side, and now I'm just checking whether I have placed it sort of straight on there with my T-square ruler. And once I'm happy, I am going to run that through my die cutting machine. And then I already have the frame from the window. So this one cuts out those glosses from the window, so you need to make sure that the panel is what you want to have it. It doesn't just cut the window itself. So for that little bar on the bottom of the window where you can put some flowers on there, I'm using this amazing Tonic Studios mirror card. It's the Burnished Rose, and I'm also going to trim off just a slight sliver to replace the sliver that I cut off this A2 size panel. So with these pieces ready, I'm first going to adhere this one, and actually I should have first added the sentiment, but I forgot and I was really impatient and excited about things getting together, and yeah. But just stamping the sentiment out using Gina K Design Amalgam ink, the same as for the princess. And then I will start on the blue part of my card. So behind the window I want to have some sort of a night sky, and I'm going to use this lighter blue to have some sort of the effect of light blue somewhere in the darkness. So it's really subtle this time, the light blue thing. And cracked pistachio might have been better to match with the mood board itself, but I don't think that it would have stand out enough, so that's why I took this darker one already, the broken china. So what I do is first add the lightest color, just randomly a bit, and then I go over it with my darker blues, and I come back to my lightest color to really make it stand out also. However, it will get harder the more you add the dark one. And then on the edges I prefer adding a bit of black soot. This really is to deepen the sky that you created, and it doesn't have to be perfect. You can still go over it with your darker blues. And now I'm just going to add a bit of that lighter color, and you can see when I go over it, it's not like you have the pure broken china again, but you definitely see that the color really pops a bit more when you just go over it. So I'm going to splatter this background using my white gouache. I say it all the time, but it's really important. If you don't want your white gouache to end up taking over the color from your background, then you really need to make sure that your gouache isn't too diluted. This way, if it is thick enough, then it won't be softened out by the color underneath. So added all the splatters, and the light blue is really subtle. So here I have my car base and I'm going to just assemble everything. I'm first adding this strip and I'm trimming off the excess. And then I am adding this panel, just checking if everything is covered behind my window. And then my front panel I'm going to add with some foam tape. I'm doing that because, as you can see on the car base, it's not even because the sizes of the papers aren't as big as the car base itself. So just to avoid some bulkiness, I am adding just some score tape on there. I help myself by adding a bit of liquid glue to have some wiggle room to place this panel on top of my car base. And now I'm going to add this one. I already added some thin foam squares, but just to make sure that it's steady, I'm also adding a bit of that foam tape again where she's overhanging the window. And now it's already time to do some embellishments. So in my opinion, all the colors are met with this card, but of course some sequins or some embellishments are always welcome. I also realized that these Iridescent stars by Studio Katia, the smallest one, fits perfectly onto that wand. So I am going to cover my yellow star and add this iridescent one, and that will make sure that it all matches with each other. And then I'm just adding a few on the sky as well. So after adding these, I am just going to embellish the wings of the princess as well. I really like it when I have wings, pixies, fairies, princesses with wings. I just like to add some glitter, so therefore I'm using some Stickles, the Stardust ones today, and I'm going to add a bit on top of those wings. I'm not covering them completely, which is definitely also an option, but I just decided to add a bit of the Stickles, and then this card will be completely finished. So I hope that you enjoy this card design, and of course that you like the end result, and that this video was useful, helpful, fun to watch, maybe inspiring you to get going with this challenge or with this stamp set. I don't know, but I truly hope that you enjoyed it. If you have any questions, you can always leave them down below and I will get back to you as soon as possible. Thank you so much for taking the time to watch this video. I hope you have a wonderful day and I will be back soon with a new card. Bye!